Lesson 6. Keeping Safe. Introduction. In our last lesson, we learned about what the police can and cannot do to help domestic violence victims. We also discussed the role of the courts and the various types of protective orders that are put in place to help protect those who have been involved in domestic abuse. However, before we go on, we would like to take a moment to repeat an important point from our last lesson. We mentioned that the police would always refer victims of domestic violence to various local agencies that specialize in working with domestic violence situations. This is because these organizations are experts in this area. They do nothing but work with all aspects of domestic violence. They are wonderful resources for everything from safety issues to housing and everything in between. They provide financial resources, counseling, emotional support, and more. We mentioned some of these organizations in Chapter 4 under Resources, but there are many fine local agencies across the country, too many to mention here. Please consider using them, whether you are in need of help yourself or you would like to volunteer to help others. Safety while with the abuser. If you or someone you love is being abused, the best solution is to get out. If that is an option that either is not possible or you or the victim will not consider, at least try to understand how to protect yourself from the worst of your abuser's attacks. Until you are ready to leave, there are ways you can minimize the abuse. For anyone still with his or her abuser, recognize the danger signs. Most victims know the warning signs that their abuser's temper is going to flare, whether it is too much alcohol, a bad day at work, or simply that you are too slow bringing dinner to the table. Try to appease your abuser. If you sense anger is brewing but has not yet happened, try to have a plausible reason to leave available for these occasions. Give him time to cool down. Avoid areas that are dangerous. Most attacks that result in serious injury occur in the kitchen, where abusers can easily reach for knives, scissors, and other sharp objects. Also avoid bathrooms and other areas where there is no escape. Try to go to rooms with outside doors or windows and a telephone. Leave when you can. Do not be afraid to leave. Later on, we will talk about the escape kit that you should have, but even without it, if you need to, run to a neighbor's house and cry for help. Practice when your abuser is not home. When your abuser is at work or out for the evening, practice an escape route just like you would practice a fire drill. Teach it to your children and have them practice it too. Make it very clear that they should escape if they are in danger and that they should never get in between you and your abuser. Instead, encourage them to use the escape plan and call 911 from a safe place. Decide on a safe word or phrase. There may be a day when you decide that the time is right to leave or when you are in danger, but you cannot talk to anyone without your abuser overhearing. Have a safe word or phrase that you can use that will be recognized by your family or friends. When you use this word or phrase, it will tell them that you need help immediately and that they should send the police. Memorize important phone numbers and always have change on you. If you ever escape from your abuser with nothing but the clothes on your back, you should at least have the phone numbers memorized for a few domestic abuse hotlines, a friend, or family member whom you can trust, and the police. You should also have enough money for a few payphone calls on you at all times. If you can, always carry enough money for a bus or cab fare. Do not purchase a deadly weapon to protect yourself. Too often, a weapon such as a knife or gun is taken away from the victim who is trying to protect himself or herself and used against them. Planning ahead, getting ready to escape. Being a victim of domestic abuse or violence means living in fear. The victim never knows when another attack, whether emotional, verbal, or physical, will come. Most victims live a constant state of tension, always on edge, and with very little energy left over to look toward the future. If you know someone who is the victim of abuse, encourage him or her to begin planning ahead. When you sense that they are receptive to the idea of leaving, suggest that they start planning now for that time when they may be able to escape. The reason is simple. Abusers are unpredictable. Victims are seldom ready when the time is right, and they often miss that window of opportunity when they could have left safely. The ones who are successful are the ones who have taken the steps to be prepared ahead of time. They have an escape kit ready so that when the time comes, they do not have to waste time gathering the things they need. They have an escape plan in place, so they are less likely to change their mind because they are afraid that they will not find a place to stay. Make an escape kit. An escape kit simply has the essentials you will need when the day comes that you have to leave at a moment's notice because you fear for your safety or the safety of your children. If you have an absolutely safe and secure place that you can hide it, you can keep it there. A better plan might be to keep it with a neighbor or close friend if you know that you can easily get to it when you will need it. You do not want to risk having your partner find it. Escape kit. Money. Put away money a little at a time and try to save as much as you can. You should at least have enough for a bus or cab fare, a cheap meal, and some phone calls. Extra keys. These will include house keys, car keys, and keys to safety deposit boxes if you have any. Medications and prescriptions. Checkbook and credit cards. Legal documents. This should include your birth certificate, your children's birth certificates, any documents regarding property you own with your abuser, and especially any protective orders. Jewelry or small valuables. Only those that are yours and you may want to sell for needed cash or items that have great sentimental value. Driver's license and passport. Address books. Any paperwork, photos, or records detailing abuse. Water bottles and small snacks, such as granola or breakfast bars, in case you are in hiding or traveling for a while. Escaping safely. Once you have put together an escape kit, be sure you keep it in the place you've chosen where it will be easy to get to in a moment's notice. Remember, most escapes happen quickly and without much advance warning. Part of the reason for this is because an escape is often out of necessity. A victim of abuse realizes that they cannot wait any longer and the danger is very real and immediate. They have to get out now and cannot wait any longer. The other reason is that in most cases, planning to leave at a particular date and time simply does not work out. Abusers deliberately keep their victims off balance by being unpredictable, and a planned escape can be difficult. This does not mean that you should not be ready. Plan all of the details, having the escape kit, knowing where you will go, knowing whom you will rely on, and other details are all important. However, do not set a timetable. When the right opportunity presents itself, be ready and take it. Since you have already set things in place, you will not have to miss that small window of opportunity when it comes along. Food for thought. Domestic violence shelters offer a lot to victims. The typical domestic violence shelter allows victims to stay for anywhere from 6 weeks to 3 months. Most of these shelters provide 3 meals a day and some type of schooling for children. They are in undisclosed locations so that abusers cannot find their victims. Victims can give false names if they wish for added security. Counseling, financial education, and career services are usually offered. Most will provide private bedrooms with shared living rooms where families can interact with others who have had similar experiences. Domestic violence shelters provide outreach services that continue to offer assistance after victims leave the shelter to ensure that they have support and assistance as they learn to live independently. When you are ready to escape, be sure that you take the proper steps to get away safely. Certain steps will make it more difficult for your abuser to overhear your plans or to interfere. Try to get a payphone or a neighbor's phone to call for help. Even if you call from your own cell phone, remember that after you leave, your phone bill will show whom you called and make it easier for your abuser to trace where you might have gone. The emergency number 911 can be called free from most payphones. If you contact a woman's shelter or domestic violence center in advance, they may be able to get you a free cell phone to use for a period of time. If you are not able to call them yourself, ask a trusted friend to check into this for you. If you can, leave while your abuser is at work, or you can guarantee that he will be gone for a period of time. Contact someone you can trust and ask them to drive you to where you want to go, whether it is to a relative's house, a woman's shelter, or to a hotel. If you do not already have one, be sure that you immediately get a protective order in place for both you and your children, and inform all authorities and your children's school or daycare of the situation. Talk to a counselor or therapist. You can find one through your local domestic violence center. They will help you with everything from finding employment to helping you with housing and emotional support. After you have left, there are several things to keep in mind. Get a disposable or temporary cell phone that you can recharge with minutes so that you are not listed anywhere and do not have to sign a long-term contract. When you get a permanent address, get an unlisted phone number. Use only your first initial and not your first name whenever possible on documents. Get an answering machine and screen all phone calls before answering. Save any threatening messages and turn them over to the authorities. Cancel all old credit cards and bank accounts. Reopen new accounts at a different bank with a new address. Whenever possible, use only a post office box address, not an actual address. If all else fails, you can go to a local Social Security office and talk to someone about their confidentiality program. They now will assign a new Social Security number to victims of domestic abuse who are relocating to try to escape their abuser. Find out how you go about this for you and your children. Keep in mind that this is a major step and will require documentation of abuse, so this is a final step after your divorce and custody matters are finalized. Arrange to meet with an attorney immediately and discuss filing for child support, maintenance, division of assets, and a divorce or separation. This is a crucial step to protect your rights and those of your children. Remember, you have to protect yourself financially and legally. Contact your local domestic violence center or bar association. They will help you find an attorney who will work with you free of charge. It is imperative that you talk to an attorney to make sure that you understand your rights to protection and how to move forward legally so that you are safe and you are able to live a productive, happy life without interference from your abuser. An excellent step-by-step guide to escaping abuse and restarting your life that was put together by an actual survivor of domestic abuse can be found at this URL. The site includes suggestions, safety tips, and links to a variety of other sites that can help you. Remember to access any site from a secure, safe location that your abuser does not have access to, or be sure to always clear your computer's history after visiting any site that may cause tension or create a confrontation. Finally, for your own safety and the safety of others, the fewer people who know where you are going, the better it will be for all involved. Let a few key people know where you will be in case of emergencies, but stress that they should not contact you unless it is truly urgent. Do not call or contact anyone unless you need to, except for your attorneys and law enforcement, until you are certain that you and your children are safe and secure. Conclusion. Victims of domestic abuse often have to make the ultimate decision to protect themselves and their family by leaving their abuser. This is not an easy decision. It is a difficult and lengthy process and requires planning. In the end, however, having the right safety and escape plans in place will mean successfully leaving a violent situation behind forever and being able to move forward towards a better, happier life.